Welcome to Ask Carnell. Have someone ever asked you to co-sign on a loan and promise to pay the loan back? I have 5 reasons why you should never co-sign on a loan. The first reason, in most cases, they're asking you to co-sign on a loan for a reason. And in most cases, that reason is because they've already ruined their credit. In the past, whether it's present, they have already refused to pay their credit. And in some cases, it may not be that they just refused to pay. Maybe they went through a financial difficulty. Maybe they lost a job. But the reality still remains they didn't pay the bill back. Okay. The second reason, if they wasn't responsible enough to pay the loan back in their name, if they wasn't responsible enough to maintain good credit under their name, why would they maintain good credit under your name? Okay. And this is not always the case, but just something to think about. People generally take care of themselves first. People generally look after their own name first. People generally want their name to be in good standing. So if they refuse to do it under their own name, why is your name so special to them? The next reason, you have no control over that loan once you co-sign. Once you co-sign on the loan, it becomes that person's responsibility, and your credit is now in the hands of a person that ruined their own credit. Okay? Something to think about. You can't force them to pay the loan back. You can't go in and put a gun to their head and say, hey, you're going to pay this loan back. You can't do that. You're at their mercy. And something to think about again, and I'll repeat this, and I'm going to make this a repetitive cycle. They're going to, why would they pay the loan back in your name and they hadn't did the same thing under their name? Okay? The next reason, if the loan goes into default, the lender's going to come after you. They're not going to go after the borrower. Why? Because they already in default. So they're going to go next to the next person that's on the list that have co-signed for the loan. And that's another thing for you to think about. If it becomes legal actions, or they decide that they want to sue or send out any type of legal letters, it's coming to you also because your address is on the application also. Okay? The next reason, it could be a potential stress on the relationship, right? Y'all eventually end up at odds, whether this is your best friend, your cousin, your uncle. You're definitely going to end up at odds because now you're going to be upset and disappointed because you've maintained good credit all these years, and now this one particular loan has put you in a situation. So in some cases, it's good to say no just to save the relationship. In some cases, it's good to say no just to continue to be able to have peace in your life. Some have asked me, well, Carnell, what if I decide to co-sign on the loan? What if this is a person I have a high regard or respect for? Maybe it's a loved one. Maybe it's a life or death situation. What measures should I take? And my answer is simple. Make sure whatever you co-signing for, you're able to pay for it. Make sure that it's in your budget. Make sure you set aside. So that for an example, if you borrow $1,000 and a note is $100 a month, make sure it's in your budget to pick up that $100 every month in the event something were to happen to the person that you're co-signing for. Because in most cases, something is bound to happen because, again, they've gone all these years and they've ruined their own credit. So it's clearly something is wrong. Clearly they've done something in the past, right? So you have to be on standby just in case. Ultimately, the answer is always no. Never co-sign. Because that way it keeps you out of a lot of problems. It keeps you out of a lot of stress. And also, it doesn't ruin your relationship with that particular individual. But again, if you decide to co-sign and it's a must that you do so, make sure it's in your budget to pick that up. And you have to be okay with picking it up in the event they decide not to pay. That's the other thing. It's one thing to be able to pay the loan back, but you have to be in a position mentally to want to pay the loan back in the event they were to default. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, reach out to me at askcarnell@gmail.com. Thank you.